The first MCU movie of the year is here with Captain America: Brave New World. Did it live up to the hype, or did it leave us all just thinking, why isn't this just the Incredible Hulk 2? I'm breaking down the good, the bad, and the things that I would change in the movie, plus I'm going to give my final verdict of where this ranks in the entire MCU, so let's dive in. Now, if you don't know what the movie's about, it's about Sam Wilson, the new Captain America. He's thrown into this really bad situation when an assassination attempt on the new president, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, happens. And now Sam has to figure out who's behind it and how far this conspiracy actually goes. So let's go and talk about the dialogue. It's not the worst thing that I've ever seen, but it's very far from the best. There were so many scenes in this movie where the conversation just felt so unnatural. And that's not every time, but the back and forth between the characters whenever they did talk was kind of cringy. And the one-liners and the fight scenes, can we just stop with those? I don't know who that's catering to. Does anyone even like that? It just takes me right out of the moment. These fight scenes can be so much fun, so tense, but then if a character throws in a cheesy joke, that tension is gone. Thankfully though, the action scenes in this movie are a bright spot. There are two huge standout moments for me. The first one's the aerial flight scene over the ocean. We see this in the trailer. I thought it was really well done. It was exciting, it was action-packed, and the stakes were high. And the second one is the fight with the Red Hulk. There was just pure chaos everywhere. I loved it. One of the things that I was really looking forward to was how creative they were gonna get with Sam's wings, and they totally delivered on that. The use of the Wakandan tech added some really cool surprises. I won't spoil anything for you, but just trust me, Sam uses all of his gear to the fullest potential. On the downside though, the hand-to-hand combat was kind of the opposite. It felt a little bit sluggish, felt a little bit slow, a little bit disjointed. I don't know if it was the editing, the choreography, I don't know what it was, but it was not as strong as all the scenes with him in the suit. Now I'm just gonna say this, Anthony Mackie is Captain America, period. This is his movie and he does a great job in it. And I really don't get why people are hating on him for taking up the shield. He's been in the MCU since 2014, he's been great, he's been reliable, and it just felt very natural that he is the new Captain America based off of what happened in Endgame. And now that he is Captain America, he just brings this quiet confidence to the role that makes you believe that he is Captain America. But then the writing in this movie just brings him back down. There's a section in the movie where they bring out that typical superhero doubt trope, and I'm thinking, why are we doing this again? Why is Sam doubting himself? We had a whole season of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier to delve into that, and it's very rewarding at the end of that series, so why are we back with this? Why is he doubting himself? It felt just shoehorned in there for the sake of having that type of thing in a movie like this, and it just brought the whole movie down for me. Now I will say that he does rebound in the third act, but man, that part in the movie just did not do it any favors. If there's one character in this entire movie that just really surprised me, it's Isaiah Bradley. His performance was powerful, it was emotional, and easily the best acting in the movie in my opinion. And Isaiah becomes the driving force of why Sam is doing what he's doing. He becomes the motivation. He's essentially the core of this movie, and without him, it doesn't really work. He's actually in the movie a lot more than I expected, and every scene with him just hit a little bit harder. What his character went through in the past, what he's going through now, it just adds a lot of much needed weight to the story that didn't really have a lot to it. He really just grounds the movie and makes it feel a lot more personal for Sam, so without him, I don't think the story would have worked at all for me. I have some really mixed feelings about Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. Sometimes he was great, bringing that grumpy, no-nonsense attitude that Ross is always known for, but then at other times, he was kind of just very annoying and unlikable. Not Harrison Ford, not Harrison Ford. He's a legend for a reason, his acting is great, but the character of Thunderbolt Ross was written in a way to make you just not like him, which I guess was the point, but still, I didn't like him. Let's go ahead and hit on one of the biggest talking points of the movie, the Red Hulk. They tease him from the beginning of the movie, and when he finally shows up, it feels awesome, it feels worth it, and it's just really exciting of when you finally get to see him. But how he becomes the Red Hulk? That's what I had an issue with. The movie just kind of glosses over some huge plot holes to make it happen. I just found myself thinking, no one noticed anything? Over the years that it took for him to become the Red Hulk, anger issues, mannerisms, blood work, no one saw anything weird with the President of the United States. I mean, I'm cool with it because at the end of the day, we get a new threatening Hulk back in the MCU. It's been such a long time since we had that. The last time we had the Hulk doing Hulk things was Thor Ragnarok. Yes, he was in Infinity War, but at the very beginning, and then he was gone, and we have not seen him since. Now this next section that I'm about to talk about is a little bit spoilery. If you've been keeping up with this movie, if you know who's in it, this is no surprise to you, but if you want to go in and be a little bit surprised, go ahead and watch the movie and then come back to finish the video, but if not, let's go ahead and talk about it. One of the Hulk's biggest enemies, the Leader, is the main villain in Captain America: Brave New World. The Leader was teased at the end of The Incredible Hulk almost 20 years ago. 20 years. And this is the moment they decide to bring him back, not in a Hulk movie, but in a Captain America movie. Don't get me wrong, Tim Blake Nelson is a great actor, but they gave him almost nothing to work with. His performance was fine with what he had, but the writing did not let him do what he needed to do to be the intimidating leader that we all wanted. So yeah, they brought back a character that I really wanted to see in the MCU, but they did nothing with him. It felt like a wasted opportunity, and that was frustrating. His design though, I like that design. I was worried they were gonna make him look really goofy with a giant brain, but with the use of practical effects, it turned out way better than I thought it would. They did this really cool thing where his brain was coming out of his head a little bit. He had these glowing, bright green eyes, green skin. Even though his character wasn't intimidating in what he did in the movie, the look of him was great, so that's a win for me. So if you couldn't tell by now, I feel like this movie was The Incredible Hulk 2 rather than a true Captain America sequel. And it's such a random decision to bring all these characters from The Incredible Hulk back all these years later, but then also in a movie about Captain America. And not only Captain America, a brand new Captain America in his first movie. But don't get me wrong, like I'm happy that they brought all these characters back, but maybe save that for an actual movie about the Hulk? Maybe? Anyone? And the story of Brave New World isn't anything that we haven't seen a million times before. It tries really hard to be this political thriller, but it just never quite nails that tone. As I was watching it, I just felt like this movie couldn't decide if it wanted to be serious or lighthearted, and that lack of focus just really hurt the movie in the end. Now, as far as what I would actually change in the movie, for one, focus more on Sam. Give us a deeper look into his past and just build on this character that this movie is actually about. And of course, use the villains better. The Red Hulk, the leader, they just did not get the screen time, the writing that they deserved. And lastly, just pick a tone and stick with it. Either go full political thriller or go full superhero popcorn flick, but you can't have half of one, half of the other, or else it's just gonna feel like this Frankenstein monster. And while it wasn't quite that bad, you did see where it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. In the end, Brave New World doesn't do anything particularly well. It's a middle of the road, very mediocre MCU movie with a few notable moments. Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, and Carl Lumbly all give solid performances, and the action, especially the aerial combat, was a lot of fun to watch. But the story is predictable, the writing is weak, and it's just hard to ignore how underutilized the villains ended up being. Now, it's not the worst MCU movie, it's not even close to that, but it's not a movie that I would rush to go rewatch. If you're a fan of Sam Wilson, or if you just want to see the Red Hulk on the big screen, definitely go check it out, but just go in with a little bit tempered expectations. Now, there is one post-credit scene. It's going to be at the very end of the credits, so if you want to stay for that, it is there. It teases what they're going to be doing going forward, more multiverse stories. Not the best post-credit scene, not the worst, but it is there if you want to stay for it. But what do you all think of Captain America Brave New World? Let me know in the comments, and if you love MCU content, superhero content, I got tons of videos. You can check them out right here. Until the next video, everybody, see you later.